Hi everybody, it's Whitney Easton here. I'm the author of the More Than Borderline blog with HealthyPlace. And today I'm going to hop on and talk about one of my pet peeves, which is when the term bipolar is thrown out as this catch-all to describe anybody who has a mental illness or some type of emotional problem. But in particular, how I know that I have borderline personality disorder and not bipolar. They can be confused, they're often misdiagnosed. But I want to talk about what makes them different and how I know that I have BPD and not bipolar. And, the first thing is that I've been diagnosed by licensed mental health professionals. Numerous people, psychiatrists have been in agreement about that. So I think it's always good to leave the diagnosing to the professionals, but there are some key differences. Clearly, someone with BPD or with bipolar disorder are going to have certain emotional challenges, but they can look a little bit different. One of the first ways is that with borderline personality disorder, it's a disorder that comes out of interpersonal conflict often. So that's not to say that someone with bipolar disorder isn't going to have, strong reactions to, say, a fight with someone that they love or, a romantic partner or a family member, but borderline in particular for me, I usually don't fly into intense feelings of anger or suicidal feelings without some sort of conflict, disagreement with another person in my life. It is very relational. So it's usually I get really, really big feelings in response to some external thing. So whether that's, perceived rejection, perceived abandonment, conversation that didn't go the way that I would like. It's a response to another person and to an interaction, and it's very relational in that way. Again, not to say that someone who has bipolar disorder can't have that, but borderline historically, that stormy interpersonal relationships, that is a part of it. And for me, if you look at all of the symptoms I've experienced, it's 99.9% of the time come in response to some important relationship in my life, whether that was a parent, an ex-boyfriend, a colleague, something of the sort. The second thing is with mania in borderline personality disorder. It's not a term we hear a lot with BPD, but I have certainly had moments that are sort of manic-like with BPD, but here's the difference. For someone to be diagnosed with bipolar disorder, they have to experience mania for an extended period of time, generally about 4 days to 7 days, where they can't sleep, they're up all night. It's this extended period. And also, periods of depression might last for months and months and months. So there's a big period of time that they're experiencing those symptoms. With BPD, I might experience manic-like symptoms and depressive-like symptoms over the course of just a matter of hours. Like I could be flying off the walls and have boundless amounts of energy and be wildly productive for an hour. And then I could crash and kind of fall into, depression. And then moments later, fly back into this sort of manic hyper state. So the cycles with borderline can move really quickly, whereas generally with bipolar disorder, people will experience those symptoms for a longer period of time. So someone might fall into a depression for months at a time, where it might just be hours and then I come out of it and then I go back into it and then maybe it's sort of manic and it just changes really fast. And that can be a distinguishing feature. So those are some of the key differences. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. I'll talk more about it in the blog post. Thanks, guys.